Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Flo. This is the Crepe Jelly Library where we love to talk about books. I am so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. Hello, my book beauties. Today we are going to talk about a horror book, and the name of that book is Night Stalks The Mansion by Westby and Cameron. And I am going to do my very best to tell you everything I can about this book without giving away any spoilers. All right, so let me see that I don't get ahead of myself. All right, here we go. I think I have it ironed out in my mind. This is the story about a family unit that consists of mommy, daddy, two babies, a 10-year-old little boy, and two college-aged boys who have not yet left the house. And the family travels quite often due to the father's job. Right now, they are holed up in a motel in Philadelphia. They've been there for quite a while, and the living quarters are tight, and it's starting to get a little cumbersome. So Daddy says, I'm going to see what I can do about inquiring about this mansion that I saw over yonder. I'm going to stop into the realtor office today and see what information he has or how he can help me. This mansion is way, way, way underpriced. So Daddy goes to the realtor office. He walks in, and the real estate agent is impeccably dressed to the nines, but his desk is disheveled. It's all in disarray. Whatever that says about the man, I don't know. But anyways, when his potential client walks in the door, the agent is like, just another day in paradise. Here we have another one. Until Daddy says, I would like to know a little bit more about the mansion down yonder that is going for such a cheap price. Well, just at that proclamation, the real estate agent perks up. Oh, you don't say. You could be my best client of the year so far, because I am liking the words that are coming out of your mouth. And as a matter of fact, what do you want to know? I can tell you. As a matter of fact, here's the keys to the place. I don't usually do this, but I trust you. Take the keys, go check it out for yourself. And Daddy does just that. He takes the family with him in his free time, and they scope it out. And that is when one of the boys runs to the beach house, the other one runs to the coach house, and mommy and daddy and the babies check the inside out. Well, daddy is in love with it, but mommy is like, it's 3 stories and a basement, for Pete's sakes. You know how I like to keep my house immaculate. This is just going to be too much work. I cannot do this. So I don't feel like it's the place for us. With a little coaxing, daddy says, well, it's better than where we are, and it's a heck of a lot bigger. And mommy cannot disagree with that. So with a little persuasion and a couple of amendments, they go ahead and agree to lease this mansion for 2 years. All right. How am I doing so far? Now, mommy says, I would just feel better about this move if they could modernize the kitchen a little bit, give it a new paint job in the kitchen, since that's where I spend most of my time. And Daddy says, you know what? I think a new furnace 2, and then they got themselves a deal. Well, the real estate agent and the owners quickly agreed to them terms. So the day before the family is to move in and the electricity is to be turned on, the whole family goes to check out the mansion to see that these amendments were made. So mommy stays in the car with the 2 babies and the little boy, and the 2 teenage boys get out and take off in different directions. Daddy goes down to the basement to see that the furnace is newly installed. There was an incident down there. Not too major, but this is when the first incident occurred. He comes back up to ground level, and this is where the library is. The library is on this floor, and the library is pretty big. Daddy is standing by the staircase just outside of the library. And he can hear, I think it's dark. I'm almost positive it's dark. Oh yeah, because the electricity wasn't being turned on until the next day. Remember? Yes. Okay. So Daddy is in the hallway with a match, and he hears flip, 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 flip. Do you know what kitten heels are? That's what he's hearing. And he's hearing it walk right towards him, and he says, "Hello, Ted." And he says, he didn't say hello, Ted. I'm saying hello to my puppy out in the backyard. Okay, so Daddy goes, "Who's there?" And nobody answers. Flip, 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 flip. "Who's there?" I say. Nobody answers. Flip, 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 flip. And then he feels cold past him. Cold air passes by him, and it spooks him a little bit. So he puts his hand on the banister, and the banister's cold. And then he can hear flip, 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 walking up the steps, down the hallway. Hello. Now, he did not want to alarm his wife with this, so let's just sweep this under the rug. This doesn't have to be brought to anyone's attention. Maybe it's just me. All right, so the next day, the family moves in, and then nightly occurrences begin to take place. Each of the boys had their own room, and before you know it, the 2 college boys are sleeping in the 10-year-old's room. And Mommy and Daddy think this is a little weird. Why would you want to share quarters with a 10-year-old? Before you know it, all of the boys' mattresses are in Mommy and Daddy's room on the floor. Okay, Daddy at some point tries to get out of this lease, but like Daryl Hall and John Oates sang in their song, the real estate agent can't go for that. No can do. It's a binding agreement, and it is solidified. It is airtight. You are not going anywhere, so get used to it. Now, this book made me laugh 5 times, and the 3rd time I was actually laughing with tears of like I don't know. I don't want to say like hysteria, because I wasn't hysterical, but it was really super funny, and it took me a long moment to gather my self and stop. But, I wiped my eyes, did a little video because I couldn't believe that I'm actually laughing this hard in a horror book. But it was right around page 66, 67. How do I want to say this? I wasn't laughing at the apparition. I was laughing at the reaction of the house guest when the apparition revealed itself. That is the part that made me laugh, because this book is so clearly told. It's very, very easy to conjure these images up in your mind. And that is exactly where I was. This book swallowed me up. I did not want to put this book down. And so with this very clear vision of what was taking place on page 66 or 67, I was there in the library with this house guest. And so I already went through the part where the cigarettes were on the nightstand just outside of the library. So there's a lot of activity pertaining to this beloved library. Yeah. Then as the book goes on, it said that the lady of the house loved flowers, more specifically roses. Now that's when I had to laugh again and shut the book, because I was in disbelief. I was like, I am literally reading my future. I am reading my future in this book. My husband says, when I pass away, what do I wish? What do I want? You know, my final wish. And I'm like on the fence, but the majority of my way of thinking is that I will be cremated. Well, I will be cremated. But where do I want my ashes spread? That's the whole thing. Well, I love, love, love my house so much that I said, just scatter me. Just scatter me in the yard. And if I don't like the future residents, then I'm just going to have a little bit of fun with them. Well, that seems to be what this lady of the house is doing. But, yeah, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyways, now let's talk about the flowers. I love roses. I love flowers, but I love roses most specifically. And in my yard, I thought, you know how like the Grateful Dead has all those colorful, there we go, bears? Well, that's what I kind of wanted to do out in my yard, but with roses. I have purple roses. I think my purple roses are dying, so scratch that. White roses, orange roses, bubblegum pink roses, fuchsia roses, red roses. Did I say orange roses? And yellow roses. And so I guess I like my roses. Well, that is when I had to say, you know, is this my future that I'm reading? I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out for me. But as the book starts to progress, it does take a different direction than what my future will be. But for a little while there, it had me. But all right, so now let's see. There is a very old man who knows the secrets of this mansion. He knows what went on in this mansion, and he can tell, except for he won't. He is going to take this information to the grave with him, and it's up to the current resident to befriend him and try to extract this information out of him. This is absolutely one of my favorite books now. I love this book. Now, do I think you should read this? Yes, I'm going to give this book 10 stars. 10 stars. I really, really liked this book. And I read it in 3 days. I could have read it in 1 day, but I have to do that stinking little thing called go to work. So it took me 3 days to read this, but so super glad that I read it, and I think that you should too. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your book dreams come true.